How's it going, guys? It's K Cars, and in this video I wanted to talk about how I keep my Challenger clean and also the stuff that I actually take whenever I actually wash it. So I made a video exactly like this with my Jeep, and I figured I would go ahead and do the same thing with the Challenger as well. So the Challenger, I actually do have a few extra steps that I take with the Challenger when you compare it to the Jeep, just because the paint on this thing is in much better condition, so I definitely want to keep it in good condition as well. Also, one thing I did want to mention is that the Challenger is also ceramic coated, so all the paint is ceramic coated, which actually does make it a lot easier to actually wash it. Now, I'll be honest, I usually don't let this car get this dirty, but if you look, there's a whole bunch of like black spots on it. I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest. But yeah, so since this car is ceramic coated, all this stuff should come off a lot easier than if it were not. So I have to park my vehicles in a public parking garage, so I don't have access to like a hose or like running water in there, so I can't actually hand wash it how I would like to. So I have to go to a public self-service car wash. Now, some of those can be pretty good. There's also car washes where you just like drive through, or it pushes you through the tunnel car wash. I would probably stay away from those unless you find a really good one that's kind of like touchless and automatic. Those are also good options as well, but I prefer to do the self-service car wash where you can do it all by yourself. So I feel like if you're doing it yourself, you're going to do a better job than if you were to just drive through an automatic car wash. That's just my opinion. So when you go to a self-service car wash like that, there's usually like 10 different options of things that you can do, and they have like instructions written out on like every single step that you're supposed to take. Now, in my opinion, you only need 3 of those steps to actually like wash your car well, and that's going to be the pre-soak, the actual high pressure soap, and then the rinse. So you really don't need any of those extra things like the wax or whatever else they offer. If you want to use that, that's great, but it's definitely not required. So whenever I wash the Challenger, there's usually 2 or 3 extra steps that I take whenever I compare it to the Jeep. So first of all, I use Adams Polish's all-purpose cleaner on the wheels, tires, and the wheel wells, and that's only if I'm doing a hand wash. So if I'm going to be using like a self-service car wash with a like a high-pressure soap gun, then I don't use that. I just use the soap gun and go around the tires, the wheels, and underneath the wheel wells. If I'm doing a hand wash, then I have a brush that I use for the tire and the wheel, as well as the wheel well. So I use the Adams Polish's all-purpose cleaner if I'm doing a hand wash. And if I'm just using the self-service car wash, I just use the high-pressure soap for the wheels, tires, and the wheel wells. Now, something else that I do in addition for the Challenger and not the Jeep is I also use the all-purpose cleaner on the exhaust tips right here. So you can see those right there. They're kind of discolored a little bit from the obviously the exhaust right there. So I just spray a little bit of the all-purpose cleaner right there, and then try to like rub it off with a towel or a microfiber cloth, or just spray it with the high pressure soap. And also, some of those self-service car washes have like iron removing chemicals, so that's also a good thing that you can spray on the exhaust tips as well as your wheels, which I have used before, and I was pretty impressed with it. So that's also something that I might use if I'm washing the Challenger. Then after all of those steps are done, pretty much everything else is the same until you get to the drying part. So basically, after I do all that, I use the pre-soak and make sure to soak the entire car. And then after that, I do the high pressure soap gun. So obviously that's the part where you actually like wash the car, get all the dirt off. And like I mentioned, with a car that's all ceramic coated, it does make it a whole lot easier. So you really don't have to spend too much time getting like bugs off or anything, because they actually do come off pretty easily, and it's pretty surprising how it actually works. Then once I finish up with the high pressure soap, that's whenever I rinse the entire car. So you just push the rinse button on the little selector menu, and then it just comes out with high pressure water, so you can rinse off all the soap and dirt. And then once you do all that, some of the self-service car wash centers have like a blow drying thing, so you can just dry it in the stall. But what I do, if I don't have that available, or if I don't want to pay for it, then I just hand dry it. I usually start with the door jambs, so I can show you guys right here. Usually your door jambs will be filled with water spots, and if you don't want them to stay, then you just have to dry them off right after you drive it out of the car wash. And as I'm drying off the door jambs, that gives me more time to actually let the water drip off the body of the vehicle, so it makes it a little bit easier to dry once I'm done drying off the door jambs. And then something else that I do in the meantime is I also dry off the trunk jam, as well as anything under the hood that may have gotten wet, just to keep it all clean underneath there. And once I'm done drying the door jams under the hood and also the trunk jam, sometimes I use Adams Polish's H2O Garden Gloss. And what that does, it basically protects the paint and makes it a little bit more hydrophobic. Now, after I got the ceramic coating done, I didn't really have a need to actually use the H2O Garden Gloss because the ceramic coating works very well to actually prevent water spots, and you know, it has hydrophobic properties as well. So I do use the H2O Garden Gloss sometimes, but I kind of realized that I don't really need that anymore. What you do with the H2O Garden Gloss, you pretty much just spray it on one panel at a time while it's still wet. And then you can see the water kind of dripping off because it is a hydrophobic chemical. So once some of the water drips off, you actually just wipe it away with one towel, and then you use a separate towel that's completely dry to actually buff it clean. So you do that for the whole entire car, one panel at a time. And I actually found that it does work pretty well. It gives it some more shine and gloss. Like I said, it makes it hydrophobic, but you know, I realized that I really don't need two hydrophobic chemicals. Since I already have this car ceramic coated, I don't need another like hydrophobic chemical going on it or sealant. But it definitely is a good addition if that's something you want to do. And like I said, I do use it sometimes, but it's not absolutely needed. And then usually either before or after I do the exterior, I also do some detailing on the inside if I need to. I've been trying to keep this car pretty clean on the inside, so I probably won't be doing any kind of interior detailing today. As for reasons or like tips that I'm able to keep this car clean, so number one reason is that I don't really drive this car in rainy conditions or wet conditions, because as you guys know, that's pretty much the main reason how cars get dirty. If you do drive your vehicle in rainy conditions, or it's your daily driver and you have to depend on it to drive in any kind of weather conditions, I would highly recommend getting it ceramic coated, because it really does help to keep it clean and also makes it a whole lot easier to actually wash it once you do get it dirty. So now that I talked through the whole process that I go through to actually wash this car, let's go ahead and head to the car wash. Hopefully it's not too busy like it was whenever I washed the Jeep. But yeah, let's hear the best part of this car, and never gets old. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on the road, head to the car wash. Like I said, hopefully it's not too busy and I'll actually be able to, you know, talk to you guys through my process. But if it is pretty busy, I usually don't like taking up a lot of time if there's people waiting behind me. So you guys might just have to get a quick time lapse of me washing the car. So also something else that I did want to mention is that it's a good idea to go ahead and wait until a day that it's not like too sunny. Just like today, you guys can see it's kind of overcast today. The reason for that is because if you do leave your car in direct sunlight, then it can dry it a lot quicker and leave water spots sometimes if you don't dry it right away. So you definitely don't want to have water spots on your car, so just something else to keep in mind. Hey guys, so we're here at the car wash. I'm going to go ahead and go through those 3 steps that I mentioned to you guys. Probably start with some degreaser and put that on the wheels, then apply the pre-soak to the whole vehicle, use the high pressure soap, and then rinse the whole vehicle off. Now, one thing that some of these self-service car washes have is just a little brush thing. Now, I would recommend not using this because it can put a bunch of scratches in your paint. So I'm not going to be using that. You should be able to just get everything off with the high pressure soap. And if you can, I would recommend just bringing a wash mitt and washing it by hand with a mitt instead of using that thing right there. Alright guys, so we're all done at the car wash here. I wanted to show you guys the finished product after, you know, doing all the washing, drying, and all that fun stuff. It definitely does look a whole lot better. You guys saw the trunk here. It was very dirty up on like this side right over here and all over the trunk here. So you can see a huge difference there. And I will say, I definitely do recommend getting your vehicle ceramic coated if you can, because it definitely does help a lot whenever you're washing it, and also does help to keep it clean as well. But yeah, I do think that I need to do a better job on the wheels here. You can see they are still pretty dirty on the inside there. The actual face, I just tried to wipe it down really quick and just dry it off. Pretty much what I did after I actually drove it out of the wash bay, The first thing that I did was actually wipe off the door jambs to make sure those are all dry. Then I wiped off the trunk jam in the back here, and then I actually wiped off the entire body to make sure that, you know, the whole thing is dry. I'm not going to be leaving any kind of water spots. And I will say, if you do have it ceramic coated, then you can really see how the water just beads right up and just flows off of the paint really easily. It really did make it a lot easier to actually wash it and keep it clean. So I would definitely highly recommend getting your vehicle ceramic coated if you can. So after drying off the body of the car, I went over to the hood and just kind of wiped off everything underneath here that got wet, just to keep it clean underneath there. And then after that, I wiped off the wheels. So that was pretty much the entire process. I didn't do anything on the inside today just because, you know, it's not super dirty. You can see it's, you know, it's not sparkling clean, but it's not like it's super dirty or anything. So probably sometime at a later date, I might just go ahead and detail the inside. But for now, we do have a pretty clean exterior of the car. Also, one thing I do want to mention is that I did wipe off like the bottom of the diffuser here just to make sure that's all clean. And for the exhaust tips, at first I did use the degreaser that they had at the car wash. So I just sprayed some of that on the exhaust tips, and you can see it didn't really do a perfect job. It's still pretty dirty on there, so it would be better if I could have done that by hand right there. I will say one downside about using a self-service car wash like that is that you're basically paying for your time to use the actual chemicals there. So even if you stop using it, your timer is still running down. So that's why I was just trying to, you know, do it as quickly as I could, because I had 10 minutes on the time, which was $10. So I did have to kind of rush a little bit, but, you know, I got everything done that I wanted to. If I wanted to wipe off the exhaust tips, then while I was doing that, my time would still be running out. So that's just one side about using those self-service car washes. Overall, I do think that it turned out pretty well. Like I said, I definitely do recommend getting your vehicle ceramic coated because it does help to keep it clean, and it does help to wash it a lot as well. So yeah, you can get a look there at the front. All the bugs came off pretty easily. You can see right there, nothing left on the front. So before I had it ceramic coated, I had to like scrub the front bumper like to get all the bugs off. So that was a pretty big pain, but yeah, it's a lot easier right now that it's ceramic coated. And I know I've been talking a lot about ceramic coating in this video. So if you guys are interested in ceramic coating your vehicles, make sure to check out my ceramic coating tutorial that I did on this Challenger using the Adams Polishes Graphene Ceramic Coating Kit. You can find that somewhere on my channel, but I'm also going to link it down in the description below of this video. And something else that I did want to mention off topic here, but these side skirts right here, you guys remember the driver's side actually got ripped off one time whenever I hit a bump. So I only have a passenger side skirt right there. I'll show you guys the driver's side. So I don't actually have a side skirt on the driver's side. So I did order a driver's side replacement from ZL1 Add-ons, and I actually received it, but they didn't include any mounting hardware. So I'm still waiting for that to come in. So I am still planning to install that. I just have to, you know, actually get the mounting hardware. So hopefully they will actually send that in and we can actually install that sometime. So guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my process for washing the Challenger. Figured I would do both the Jeep and the Challenger and kind of show you guys my new process now that I don't actually have access to a hose and I can't actually like hand wash it like I used to. So hopefully this was helpful to some of you guys who are like in the same situation, and hopefully my ceramic coating tutorial video helps out you guys as well if you are planning to do that. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys have any video suggestions for videos you would like to see in the future, make sure to also drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys like this video or found it entertaining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.